doing it.
Oh. First fundamental error of drumming. 2 drummers. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Eddie.
How's it going, man?
Oh, good, man. I'm really pleased to see you. Thank you for coming all this way. Just flew in from Holland just for us. Or the Netherlands. I always say Holland. I get really confused what you're allowed to say, what you're meant to say. I don't need my glasses. This is great because normally when I'm on the screen, I have to have my glasses. So would you say the Netherlands?
Yes, but sometimes I do say Holland because then I say the Netherlands, so people are like, what? And then I tell them Holland. Oh, okay. So, when you speak a little bit faster and you say the Netherlands, people don't get it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think both is allowed.
Yeah, and the Hague.
The Hague. Yeah.
Nice.
On the coast, like at sea. We just really live like 2 minutes from our house. We walk on the beach.
Well, that's I'm a bit envious of that. Yeah, I do like the sea. I like space. I don't like, although in this room it looks really cluttered, but I feel like we're in Tiny Desk or something.
Yeah.
With all the bits everywhere. Anyway, getting back onto it. Eddie, now, I forgot to read your name again to get it right. Von Dongen.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, Van Dongen.
Okay, totally wrong. Totally wrong.
The Van was good.
The Von.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Dongen.
in Holland we have a lot of back names. That is Van, which is from.
Yep.
And then Dongen is actually like a little village in the south of Holland, which my brother looked this all up with the family weapon and the little village where probably one of our ancestors came from. So that's why we're called Van Dongen.
Nice.
Good story.
I've not been there. I've been to Holland lots, or to
I've
the
never been
Netherlands.
there.
You've never been? Okay. Well, you should go. I hear it's great.
I hear it's nice.
I hear it's great, yeah. There's some very creative people come from there, apparently. So welcome to the Drum Shed podcast. This is a little bit weird because we're doing it in the shed, which is the name of the podcast. But it's different because I've actually got a real person with me for real.
Yeah.
Which is unusual for me.
You guys normally do it through Zoom, right?
It's normally through Zoom, yeah.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I gotta drop by the podcast, man.
Yeah.
Just do it. So here I am.
Well, I appreciate it. And there's the dog barking. Hopefully that won't come out. There you go. It's classic. Okay, not my dog. So, why are you here, first of all? Why have you travelled to the UK?
Well, I'm actually here because
Is that okay to ask?
I'm just doing a podcast. But then I was doing a podcast. I was like, hey, I have a friend here in London, which is Andrea. Andrea's a good friend of mine, and we're going to do a drum camp in the Netherlands in June this year, where we want to help drummers that's the whole mission of what we do as well, to help them build vocabulary that they can use without trying to remember fills or trying to copy random fills, and develop this language that comes out fluently. Just as we're talking right now, I do have to think about a few words in English, but I'm fluent enough that I can just talk with you about whatever comes up. And that's what we want to help drummers do as well, develop this language that they can use regardless of the style that you play, regardless of the tempo that you play. You can always kind of pull from this vocabulary, from this language that you've learned. So I'm actually here to create some content with Andrea as well. That we did that yesterday, because it's coming out pretty soon. I'm gonna do drum camp in June, and then it's like, gotta visit Matt, do the Drum Shed podcast, and here we are.
Thank you very much. Well, I appreciate it. In fact, we've by the time this goes out, we would have put out one with Andrea. Andrea, I can't roll my R's. I'm sorry, Andrea. He was dumbing down his name for English speaking people, because when he said it nicely, it was perfect, But when I say it, it's just Andrea. Sounds a bit rubbish, but sorry about that. Yeah, so that'll be coming out very soon. So he's a lovely man. In fact, without even knowing, I was literally next door in the recording studio next door to him a few months ago, and not knowing that he was there. because there's 92 and there's 94, and I think I was in whatever one he's not in.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool place, isn't it? Is that the first time you've been to
Such a great
that
guy.
area?
Very inspiring. He inspires a lot of drummers over the UK as well, which is just really cool to see. And that's also why we connected so well. You know, the whole thing about the language that we try to develop as well, but also his feel for community and trying to bring drummers together. And you know, whatever background you have, whatever, you know, music you play, people just come together. And that's also what we want to do with this drum camp, is bring people together and just play. Everyone gets to play. It's not just sit down, you look at what we are doing, but you play along. You know, everyone just gets a practice kit. They get to practice, and that's really important.
So yeah, I get the inspiration, because when I was listening back to the podcast I did with Andrea, it's really inspirational. Just the energy that you get from you, from your videos, from Andrea. There's a little club of people that all seem to, I've noticed, that are working together, and just this new wave of energy, which is really great for the industry.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of playing in a you know, in a clinic where you get to play more, because it's like driving. If someone says go left, go right, go, I only remember if I drive myself. So
yeah,
like, it's much easier to, as a passenger, you're just looking out the window, you're not paying attention. But and I think in the drumming world, if you're playing it, then you'll have that memory of that attachment.
Yeah, and this actually comes from, it's a funny story actually, because this is where one of the things, or one of the stories that really got me started in approaching drum clinics, master classes, and these kind of ideas, because I went to a Thomas Lang clinic, I think 15 years ago, and I saw him play drums, and it was amazing. And then lifted up my hand, I was like, cool, like, what do I practice? And then he just showed a few exercises. He played it really fast, and I was like, yeah. And then you get home, you're like, what was it again? You write some stuff down, and you're like, I don't know what this means. And then you come back home, you try, you know, some stuff, and then 2 weeks later you forget about it. And when you play it there, you know, having a practice kit with you, having a practice pad, whatever you have to just play it, it really stores better into your brain, into your body. And that's kind of where it started for me also. You know, my mission that I have is to help people to kind of break free from copying or trying to memorize all these drum fills, and learn the actual language behind the drum. So you're not kind of a slave to the fills that you have, but you become the architect of your own playing.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what I really value. And it's the whole journey from that moment, the 15 years ago, from that Thomas Lang clinic when I was a little kid, just like trying to get better at drums. And I didn't like copying what other guys were playing. I tried to listen, play along, and try to figure out and make sense of it. So everything that I share right now, you know, the whole grouping system and the way that I think about drums, is just a way of making sense of what the greats were playing. Of me trying to understand that, and now helping my students understand that and play in a way that they feel comfortable sounding like themselves.
Yeah. I mean, Thomas is he's such a lovely guy. I mean, I've spoken to him a few times, and we'll hopefully get, well, I saw him last week, he was in London. And I've seen him a few times before, but he's hopefully coming in on the Zoom podcast as well.
Nice.
So I can see that he's just a very inspirational guy, very just nice, and which a lot of people are in this world, drumming world. It seems to be a lot of people that are just nice people. So with your clinics that you're doing in June, so tell us more about that. How do people? Have you already signed up? Has everyone already signed up to it, or you?
No. This is literally the start.
Right.
Yesterday of recording the content with Andrea, getting everything together, getting the story together. We did a little promo, but it's going to be in the Netherlands, in The Hague, in my hometown.
Yeah.
We only got 20 spots, 15 to 20 spots. It's not a big room, so it's just going to be like one big space. There's also not going to be a stage. It's just going to be one room. All the drum sets. We're going to have 3 drum sets. Everyone's going to have at least a practice pad. Working with Evans to get some more gear over there, get the pads there, so we can all play. And there's going to be a bass player with us all day, so we can actually use all the things that we learn, the vocabulary and all the ideas, the groupings that we're going to use in a musical way or right away. So the bass player is going to be there. It's going to play a groove for us, and we're going to right away apply all the things that we share with everyone, and everyone's going to play, whether like, if you don't really want to, that's fine. But we really invite everyone to at least sit behind the kit once, so you get the feel of what it feels like behind a kit and orchestrate all those ideas. And what we see is that a lot of people are copying random stuff from social media. They learn a fill and they forget about it 2 weeks later. They learn another fill and they forget about it 2 weeks later. They learn another fill, and then they're like, why can't I memorize all these things? Why is it not working for me? I think playing drum fills is not for me. But it's a wrong, well, I think it's not wrong to copy fills, but there is a missing link or a sort of gap between learning something and then actually apply it in music and making it into something of your own. Where a lot of people struggle with actually letting it come up naturally when they play, right? But there's all this research that shows how things are stored in the brain, about performing on stage, where you kind of fall back on the things that feel most comfortable to you. You don't rise to the level, right, of your most creative self on stage. You kind of fall back on your most comfortable level that feels safe. So I think by expanding your ability to, be comfortable at playing at a higher level or with pressure is something that a lot of drummers miss these days. In just copying some ideas and not really applying it in real life situations. And that's also something we want to invite people to, at the drum day, where we want to have people play this stuff right away.
So have you got an age limit on it, or have you got?
We don't have an age limit on it, but we do
As in
have
like lower
levels. Like,
right.
it's not for absolute beginners, not at all. No, you have to know your rudiments. You have to be able to just play a groove, play some fills. If you can play your singles, doubles, and paradiddles, you're good to go. But you have to have that understanding. If you're like, right kick, then it's not for you. Yeah.
And how does that work? So if people are asking or applying to come into, is there a certain, like a test for you? Not a test, that sounds wrong.
We do have a questionnaire.
A few questionnaires.
Yeah, we do have a questionnaire, and we just ask people to be honest. Like, it's not just for us, but it's also for that person. If you're a beginner and you come to a camp and the level is here, you're like, huh?
It's going to scare you off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to scare you off. So yeah, it's not for absolute beginners. There's plenty of drum camps for absolute beginners out there, plenty of lessons for absolute beginners out there, and this is for those who are already there. And I think I wish I had that when I was younger, because sometimes you have these drum camps or drum days and then it's everyone is welcome, and then the levels are so different and you don't really like know what's happening, and then you get back home, you're like, I wish what happened? Like, there were all these.
I suppose there's an element, if someone's really good and they're holding back because they don't want to show off, or they don't want to intimidate or make other people feel uncomfortable, then they don't get what they wanted to get out of it. So if it's graded or it's, if you're put in the right kind of compatible team, or if you like, then I suppose that would be that you'd get more value from that. Equally, if you were just starting out and you were all just starting out, that would work.
And there's plenty of beginner stuff, workshops
all
and
over
stuff out there. I think also this is also for myself. I'm coming from a time where I feel like there wasn't that much specificity on, this is for intermediate or advanced. And what does that all mean? What is an intermediate or advanced player? But what I try to focus on as well is people that already play for years, and they kind of feel stuck at this level where they're constantly repeating the same things. We'll do a lesson as well, man.
No.
But it's for those people that feel like, what's happening? Like, I want to break through that next level. And most drummers feel like that's only reserved for great drummers or for professional players, but it's not. And the way I serve those people is by making that complex stuff really easy to understand. And that's what I'm really good at, and what I deconstructed over the years in explaining these advanced concepts, so to say, in a very easy to understand way, where you build a language and you build a system around it so you can actually pull from it, right? It's not that, oh, here are some licks. I don't teach licks. I teach a different thinking system, a different way of thinking about all these ideas, which makes it very easy to pull from it when you're just playing, you're grooving. So I had this moment, and this comes from a moment also, I think 4 or 5 years back, where I froze on stage, like literally 75,000 people in front of me. Well, it goes back a little bit before that, because I told you just in the car.
Yeah, 75,000 people.
That's
You didn't mention that amount. That's quite
Yeah,
a lot
okay.
of
It
people.
was a big one.
It's a big
And
one.
we just released a new
I
album.
wouldn't get out of bed for less than 70,000.
We had just released a new album, and normally the guy I played with, he would be very strict about what I played on the album. And then we came into the studio, he's like, guys, just do whatever you want. I was like, really? This is gonna be awesome. We just kept full free canvas to just play with it and play with the music. Cool, let's go. So I threw out all my ideas and I just played with the music, and then recorded the album. There was this like listening session a few weeks later, and I heard a fill that I played. I was like, what is that? What am I playing? And I started to write out that exact fill. Album is finished. I hear the fill again. I'm like, that's the most amazing fill I've ever heard myself play, right? And then I started to deconstruct that fill. I wrote it out and like, I'm gonna use that live. Get on stage, do the tour. Sometimes the fill comes out and sometimes it didn't. And that moment, imagine like a huge stadium, football stadium, 75,000 people. You're like, hell yeah, and then you're like playing, and then that moment happens where you're looking at the band and you're like, shit, that fill's coming up. Do I remember it correctly? What did I started with the kick? I started with the kick. I think I started before the 16, before the one, just the 16 note before the one, and then that moment comes there and you're like, taka taka dugu dugu. That was not the fill. And I started to kind of get in my own way. I started to overthink that moment. And that was the moment I really realized, like, this is holding me back. Trying to memorize fills, it's holding me back. And I don't want to be the drummer that plays the same fill every time perfectly. If a band or an artist asks me to do that, I'm not going to be their drummer, because I don't want to be that drummer.
Yeah.
I can do it, but I don't like it. I like to just go for it and let the music tell me what it needs, instead of playing that exact fill. And that's actually what drove me to this whole method of helping drummers develop a language, and again, becoming the architect of their own playing, and not getting stuck in memorizing fills or trying to copy the exact same fills. I don't even know what the question was again that you asked, but it brought me to this story of why it started for me to, build this whole system. And, I noticed that my students really like this way of thinking. It's not for everyone. If you just want to copy fills and you just want to play the simple fills and the groove, totally fine. This is just my way, and I like it that way,
Yeah, I mean, my personal problem, which might be just me, but I'm sure it's not. I'm sure nothing is just someone. I think we're all quite similar in different ways. But I don't ever remember anything. I can't even remember what I'm saying now, of course. But I don't remember. If there was a fill, even the Phil Collins fill,
which is groups of three.
Yeah, I don't ever think about. I mean, I don't play it very often. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't even think about it. I would play. When it comes up, I'd play something like it or it. I don't know, but I'm not that accurate. So in my world, it's playing the song how it. Say if you're playing a cover, how it was on that version. There's chances are I'm not going to play exactly the same. I might think that if it's in a live situation or just doing a cover online and just uploading a video, is anyone sitting there writing it out going, oh, you did it wrong? Does anyone care when you're playing live? But for me, do people actually notice? We talk about when you said about playing in front of all those people, you were having this conversation with yourself about it, but was anyone else in, like, maybe not the band, but like the audience, you know, they would have thought it was amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And whether you did it the right way, to how you intended it to be, or whatever, chances are they loved it. Or sad fact is, probably didn't notice. I mean, some of the time we put all this effort in, and people
They
don't.
didn't notice.
They don't. I mean, it's unlikely someone's going to stand at the back and go, "He just did a."
That's not the feel he intended to play. No, of course
Yeah,
not.
I
And
missed
you know,
that
when you get to
second.
a professional level, it's not the mistakes you make, it's how you fix them.
Yeah,
Like it's how you pick it up after, and or not even after, the moment that happened. I played a fill that fit the musical situation, so it was fine because I
yeah,
have the fluency in drumming enough to do that. And I think it's that development of the language of drumming, literally, that allows you to improvise in a way that fits the musical situation. And that's my whole driver. That's what I help drummers with, is developing the fluency of speaking the musical language. And that's the same with the Phil Collins fill. It's like that is groups of three. Do 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 ga ga. 3 3 3 3 4. And the idea is not that it's about the stickings or about the numbers. Sometimes, like, I get tons of hate about this, right? You shouldn't do it like mathematical equations in your drumming fills. It's not about that. People don't get it. It's not about that. It's about the melodies that it gives you. And when you learn the melodies, it doesn't matter what you play
yeah,
because it's in your system. You
exactly.
feel
Yeah.
that, right? You feel it.
Yeah. And if it is maths, I'm out,
Yeah.
because I am so bad at maths. And lots of people, I mean, my son, it's a dirty word in this house. Um, math, or maths, as we would say in the UK, is is so far away from where I want to be when I'm playing music.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the anti-music. It's the anti-creative for me.
Yeah.
Some people are completely different, and they have to know it and logically work it out, and it makes sense to them, and that's great. But to me, and plenty of other people, I'm sure, it's kind of, if I wanted to do maths, I wouldn't be doing music. I
Yeah.
would be doing some other
It is about the
scientific
feel,
job.
right? It's about the feel in that moment. I do think you need a foundational understanding of,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
of course.
what 16th notes are, 8th notes are, and how you can
Count to
divide
4.
that. Yeah, count to 4 and 7 and 6 or 13 or
Yeah,
whatever. Like it's really about developing that freedom of feeling and knowing how to communicate with the different musical situations. I used to play these jam sessions like every week, every Sunday night. I'd play these jam sessions, and in the beginning, I got this. I did two jam sessions. One was covers, and I was like, oh man, like I do want to do it because I want to play more music, but I don't want to play covers as they are. So I called the guitar player. He's like, dude, you don't have to prepare anything. You know this stuff. I'll just call some stuff out. I'll just call out a
yeah,
tempo and a sort of groove and just play along with it. And that was my like, wow, we can do that. Let's do that. And I played with these amazing musicians where we're talking with music, right?
yeah,
We were
yeah,
communicating in music, and it didn't matter if it was, whatever, a Queen song or the Beatles or whatever it was, we could always make something out of it. And that's what I really like. Some people like to be super structured with all these things. And that was one of the moments where I really realized, like, I don't like to copy stuff that much. I like to sit in the feel of the music
yeah,
and, uh, you know, kind of trying to deconstruct with other drummers what other drummers were playing. I also realized that a lot of drummers were playing the same things, Weckel, Kaliuda, Todd Zuckerman, also Benny Greb, but how they played it, that was different. But
it was
what
their
they
own
were
sound.
playing, and that was a big eye opener for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you prefer then? Someone that has really worked, or what do you think sounds better? Some absolutely perfectly accurate part, or um something very similar that fits, but is more flowy, or more.
I think the question is not what would I like more, because I think you can't really say that. If you talk to my teacher, or I ask my teacher this plenty of times. He did the voice in Holland for
Yeah.
years, and he got lead sheets. He didn't got the full grooves. He just got some lead sheets with some accents here and there. And he
Right.
filled in the bunch like, let's go live.
Yeah.
They would play, if they would record stuff in the studio, they play 80 songs in a day.
Um,
Yeah. So your question was, what would I prefer? I it's I think the first thing here is that you can't really know if a drummer what he's playing is, if that's what he intended to play, or if that's exactly what's on the sheet. Usually drummers get lead sheets, right?
Yeah.
This is like, I played theater shows as well where we had lead sheets. There would be grooves in there. We're just, the musical director would just be kind of be in that feel. And if don't miss those hits, and then, all around that, it was fine. I like it when there's that freedom. And some drummers can read so well and they can play all these note for note ideas. But I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think a lot of those drummers, Kalyuda, Weckel, and, if I talk about my own teacher, my own experience from conservatory in Rotterdam, he did the voice of Holland for years. He gave us his lead sheets and he was like, if I don't miss these hits, it's totally fine. I just play whatever comes to mind. He would never prepare anything. And that's what I like. And that's when I also, all these moments I realized time and time again, I want to have this kind of language that I can pull from whenever it's necessary. I don't want to be able to
Yeah.
remember these things. I just want it to come out. It's something I call recall in the moment. You got to be able to recall it when you're in a moment and just pull from your bag of experience or bag of ideas. And I think, of course, there's drummers that play exact note for note, but what would I prefer? I think both of them is fine.
I suppose it depends on the job, doesn't it? Because if you're with a band or doing a show and it's got to be note for note, and if it's not note for note, everyone will be thrown off by it. Then that's a different job. That's the job where you do it that way. If you're in a jam, in having a bit of fun, casual kind of thing, then it should be, in my opinion, a jam should be jamming.
I've never had this. Like, I'd love to hear someone who had to play his stuff note for note, unless it's like a groove where the bass drum needs to be in specific places. But still, then there is space around it to play around with it.
yeah,
I've
really.
never heard someone tell me like, oh, I had to play note for note the full song. Never. There's always a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Adding some ghost notes, add a crash, add a little fill. Unless there's like such a important moment of a fill, like a Phil Collins fill, yeah, of course it needs to be there. But all around it, like, there's so much space around it in music, which is also, to me, that's what I like to see most. Like, not even drummers, but just musicians enjoying on stage and playing around with the music instead of playing it exactly how it was on the album. I've never heard a band play a full song that's exactly how they played it on the album.
Yeah,
never ever.
Of course. I mean, there's live versions and there's the recorded version, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Eddie, let's find out a bit about Eddie. When did you start playing drums?
I started playing drums when I was 13 or 14. Pretty late. It was actually the moment. So my mother, she had a friend who had a boyfriend at the time who was this amazing djembe player. And he visited our house. They visited our house pretty regularly. And he just saw me kind of like, this ADHD guy just running around, hitting everything. And he saw me like drumming on stuff. And he's like, you should put him on drum lessons. It looks like he's got some feel for rhythm in his body. And the first thing I remember that I started in like a sort of djembe percussion group, started to play there, learning the language. And then I think it was cycles of like 2 months of djembe, 2 months of bongo, 2 months of whatever, snare drum. And then I think at the ending, it was 2 months of drum set. And I finished a year on the drum set and I came back to my father. I was like, I had this pair of drumsticks with me. I walked down the stairs. I'm like, I want this pair of drumsticks and I want a drum. It's like, okay, cool. I got the money for the drumsticks. We bought a drum kit like a few weeks after for 250, I think it was already euros.
Was it guilders?
I don't even remember what the kit was. But yeah, that's how I started. 13, 14, something like that.
So, now, I mean, that's obviously only a short while ago because you're a very young man, of course.
30 or 3.
He's forgotten his age. That's a bad sign.
Yeah, 20
Yeah.
years.
20 years. Yeah. And you've done, and what have you done? Did you study drumming, or did you do it? Did you go to
Conservatory.
uni?
Yeah.
Conservatory?
Also a crazy story, because in Holland you have one conservatory which is in Rotterdam, which
Yeah.
people from all over the world come to study there. It's a
Okay,
really
yeah.
good school, and only 5 drummers a year come in.
Wow.
They have hundreds of applicants, you know, doing auditions. And I actually, when I graduated high school, I went to this drum camp in summer, like a young kid. I don't know, what was it, 2006, I think, somewhere like that, 2008 maybe. Anyway, I went to this 3-day drum thing in Holland, and they asked drummers, the teachers there asked drummers like, yeah, who wants to be a professional? I was like, professional? Can you be a professional drummer? I want to do that. But then I was finishing high school, and my father was like, you know, you got to do study and just go do something. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, okay. I don't know if I can be a professional drummer. Maybe I just want to do something in music and do drumming on the side. So a lot of people advised me like, it's hard, you know, if you want to get at the top, it's really hard to become a drummer and become a professional. And one of my teachers at the time was like, if you really want to do that, yeah, you could, but it's gonna be hard. And then I felt like maybe I shouldn't do it. And I did another study. It was about communication and organizing festivals or something. And then after 4 months, I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. I need to play drums. So I did audition first year after, came into the conservatory, and they're like, nope, you're not ready. Your technique's not good. Your stylistic knowledge not good. Come back next year. I was like, oh, okay. So I started drumming with another teacher, and just taking drum lessons from a different teacher that was more specialized in preparing people for that conservatory.
Yeah.
I followed the years of lessons, come back, do another audition year 2. I'm like, nope, sorry, man, you're not ready yet. That's like, oh, okay. Well, I'll see you guys next year. You know, next year I'll be there. So next year I come back, another year of studying, right? And working at this liquor store to just get some money as a kid, and you know, make sure that I could actually do stuff. Third year, come in, they only take 5 people in per year. They're like, so you do the audition on the day, right? Then you go home, you wait. Sometimes you even wait a few days because they have like 3 or 4 days of, you know, drummers coming in. So 2 days later, they call me, they're like, yeah, it was a really hard one this year, and you know, you're a great drummer, but we already picked 5 people. So if one of those guys decides not to do it, you're the first on the list. Yeah. I was like, I had no idea what to do with my life.
Can't imagine that.
It was, yeah, it really hurt me. But then I got into this other kind of my option B. Like this was at like a bachelor level, and then you have one that's below that.
Yeah.
And I did that for half a year, and then like, yeah, I was like, no, I can't be here. I need to get to that school. I need to get to that one in Rotterdam, because also that teacher there, best drummer in Holland. I was like, I gotta be at that guy. So I was persistent. So after the third time I didn't get in, I was just 2 months of like, I don't know what to do with my life. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna do it. So I prepared another year, and then I came in 4th time.
Wow.
4th year of audition, I finally got in. So yeah, I studied drums there. I've studied with so many different drum teachers over the years. I flew to Mike Johnston to do his camp in 2013.
Right.
Studied at Mannheim for a summer, which is where Annika also came from. Flew to New York to study with Nate Smith. Man, JP Bouvet, studied with him for years. Very inspired by him as well. And yeah, man, that's kind of where it started, the whole drumming journey of studying
Wh-
at music college.
When you went back to college, was you one of the only people that had gone 4 times? Like,
Yeah,
because that they must have seen this guy, like
he's
he's
crazy.
committed, you know. Yeah, he's pretty, or he should be, you know. But he is committed to this. He, you know, we didn't expect to see him back again after, you know, the second or third or whatever. But that must have gone in your favor as well. I mean, not to, but you know, obviously you're able to get in, but
My teacher, like, I still speak to him regularly. I help him out with some content as well. But yeah, he's still like, dude, I remember your fourth time in, you came in, and I couldn't believe it. You know, 4 times you did 4 times. Like, you're the only one I've ever seen,
no,
you know, doing that 4 times in a row. And it's just like, I also believe in that. You know, if you really want to do something that you love to do,
yeah,
you just go for it.
keep
And it
doing
took
it.
me
Yeah.
4 years, and I'm happy I did it because I can't imagine doing something else.
I think that's a really good message. I think, and we have got a fly in here, which is really annoying me.
Hello.
Um,
Zoom.
but there he is. Hang on, let's get him out. He's gone. Welcome to the Drum Shed podcast.
We're starting over.
Yeah, we are very professional. Oh, hello. Yeah, so the I forgot what I was saying. You doing it 4
4
times
times, yeah.
is a really good message, I think, for everyone, and particularly nowadays we've got this is an element of, oh, everything will be okay and we'll get I'll just do a video on Instagram and then I'll become famous and I'll be able to earn loads of money
Shortcuts.
doing drum, and I won't have to do it. And what you've just explained is a bit. I mean, we've had similar stories from other people that we've interviewed on here before. Ed Richardson, who's playing for Jules Holland now, he came in and he was talking about his challenge getting into to uni and the school he wanted to get into. And you had a similar thing there. I spoke to Christy Neddens about her journey and traveling and teaching under Peter Erskine, learning under Peter, and going over to LA and stuff, or California. It's a lot. It's important, I think, to hear that, this guy went 4 times. I mean, my driving test was 3 times. You know,
And 4 times means 4 years.
4 years. Yeah,
4
it's
years.
not just 4 times, is it? Because in between that, you've got to pick yourself up, get better, plus survive and work and live.
Yeah.
To go back and then, you know, to be knocked down 3 times.
Yeah. It's tough. And
It shows a resilience.
yeah.
And I think that should be really, really commended. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Doesn't mean anything
Yeah.
for me, but
And I wouldn't have it done
think-
differently. Like, if I go back in that whole time, like, it's insane sometimes to think about it, that I spent so much time studying. And I remember I was at the rehearsal space there, and people would just walk by the room and they're like, is he here? It's 8 o'clock in the morning and he was here already before me. And then they go back at night. They're like, he is still here. Like, I was sitting all day, every day. Like, I need to get into that. And that's, I think, also the misconception with all the stuff that you see on social media. It's like,
Yeah.
all these great players, sure, but do you know how much time they spend to get to that level?
To get where they are. It's a bit like a Whiplash story. I mean, without the abuse, maybe. Which is always a good thing, to not have the abuse, but to have the commitment and to the drive to want to become, to get where they want to go, and that's what you've demonstrated. And you know, like you say, people might pop up on the internet. Who's this new guy? I never heard of him. Must have just done this, or her must have just got lucky, and suddenly getting endorsements, or suddenly doing whatever, running schools. But the reality is all the work behind it that isn't advertised. So, which is one of the reasons why we talk about these sort of things on the podcast and get to know the, you know, the journey, because it's important that people need to know what they need to do if they want to do the similar thing.
Yeah, I mean, the downside of it was kind of the dark side after. Like, I did that for 4 years. So basically, I already did 4 years of studying, like, crazy. And then I had to start music college, like conservatory,
Mm.
doing another 4 years,
Yeah, of course.
right? And I was in the first year, like it's brutal. It's brutal. You gotta like study so much. You gotta do music theory. You gotta play piano. You gotta train your ears. You gotta, you know, deconstruct all these crazy pieces of Chopin and learn all these music history stuff. And then in the first year, at the end of my year, I was like, I want to do more. Like it's a full-time study, right? Every day you go to Rotterdam. I traveled, like I stayed in my hometown because I couldn't afford living somewhere else. I also didn't want to live in another city. Anyway, that's a different story. But I started to do that, travel back and forth. And I was like, okay, I want to do some like live gigs. I need more experience, you know, I need to be in the game right now. So I started to apply just randomly for theater shows. And I applied for this new rock theater show, which was about a very famous Dutch rock singer. And I was like, cool, let me apply. And usually what they do with these shows is they pick a band that's already well connected, right? They like to have a band come in and do an audition because it saves them time to kind of bring
people
musicians more
together.
together. If there's musicians that already connect, it's easier for them. It's an easier job. And I was like, let me just call 2 guys from the conservatory from my year, right, that I don't know. Let me just call them and say if they want to be my band, right? We'll do audition as a band. And I knew the bass player, I knew him. I felt like, okay, I connect with him really well, and the guitar player is also cool. So I called the audition place. I was like, yeah, I want to come with my band. They're like, yeah, cool. You know, come with your band. That's great. We love that. It's like, all right, cool. So day before, the bass player calls me. He's like, yeah, I got an email, or did you see the email about it? It looks like they are just inviting you. Do they actually know that we're coming with the band, or did they just do the drummer? So I call them back and they're like, oh no, sorry, we got that wrong. I thought you were just coming as a drummer to audition. I was like, well, if that's the case, I'm not coming. I want to bring my band. Bang. And I hung up the phone. It's like, I'm not going to do it. I wanted to come with my band. They call me back 3 hours later, like, okay, we took care of it. You guys can come in first as a band, and then you know, we do the rest of the auditions after. And at the end of the day of the auditions, they called us right away. It's like, yeah, you guys, like, we need you guys. You guys are great. We can really hear that you guys are a band, but we weren't a band, right? So that was one of the really cool things that I got out of that. But anyway, the story I was getting to was the dark side of that is like you go so crazy. I go totally nuts. I got in college, I got in conservatory. You finally get in there after 4 years and like, okay, I'm gonna get the most out of that. So study my ass off. I got a new job touring through the whole of the Netherlands, like crazy, like 5, 6, sometimes 7 shows a day, a week, a day. That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. Yeah.
7 shows a week.
Unless they were really short, like a minute. That'd be fine. That'd be easy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then what happened is I just got burnt out. Like
Yeah,
at the, in the second year, I just
But it's a physical thing as well.
it's physical, man, and but also mentally, like I couldn't handle it anymore. So after the tour, actually during the tour, I was also in a shitty relationship back then, which just didn't really help, you know, from that perspective. And I went too far. I was in the rehearsal space one day, and I just broke down. I just fell on the ground. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know how I got home. I actually had to, which really helped me, to talk with a psychologist to help me deal with some demons in my mind, to just like get back on track. And it's like there's a dark side of going so crazy at things. For me, I just went too far. It got me burned out. I could still finish the shows, but like I had to, you know, do my second year of college in the third year. So I had to do 2 years in one, because I also didn't want to do 5 years of college.
No, of course not.
So anyway, just to say that, you know, you gotta find a balance in doing what you love, because it can also go a little bit too far. But it takes dedication. Like you can't expect to become an amazing drummer by, you know, practicing once a week for an hour.
Yeah.
It takes time, takes practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I gave up on that idea of being a good drummer for a long time. I just enjoy it. So I can definitely qualify for that. But to be a great drummer, I think that's kind of out for me. But I totally get that this is a really important message to show that, you know, you need to work at this. It's not work as in going down the mine or, you know, working in the factory. It's more fun because it's creative and it's drumming, but it's still work, isn't it? Still hard work. And I think that's a good message to show that, you know, if you want to get where you need to be, you need to work out where you want to go and what you need to do to get there. And people like yourself and your courses that you do, which we'll come on to in a second, are, you know, they're all out there, and people can benefit from your experience and then write their own journey at the same time. You know, to write their own journey. Do you write a journey? You don't write a journey, do you?
Yeah, you
take
write
a
your
journey.
own story.
You write a story. Yeah. Who is this guy talking? Excellent. So, your Instagram and your courses. Should we talk about that? Because I'd like people to know how they can benefit from the Eddie touch.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah. So I kind of started with Instagram after COVID. Or not after COVID. Well, yeah, I started after COVID. I already had an Instagram account, but I didn't really use it because it wasn't that big of a thing before COVID for me because I was just playing shows all the time. I was touring nonstop. And then, of course, COVID hits, everything's gone. You're like, oh my God, what do I have to show for? Like nothing. I was only playing for other artists, doing theater shows. Everything gets canceled. Then what do you do? And I felt like, who am I as a drummer? I'm just kind of dependent of other musicians, you know, to be able to pay my bills. And I did teach one day at a little local drum school, which was nice, but it was just it felt nice to do on the side of playing a lot.
Yeah.
So after COVID, I realized like, damn, I'm worth nothing. How can I kind of take care of myself as an entrepreneur, not just as a drummer? So I started to learn a lot about business. I had a huge support from Joy, my partner, where, you know, we started to build on these things together, learning about business. How can you kind of build your own brand? That's when I kind of started to use Instagram as a platform to show like, hey, I actually love teaching. I love sharing my ideas, and I'm really good at breaking complex things down into easy understandable ideas that everyone can use. So that's kind of how it started, where I felt like, cool, all right, things are actually working. People like the stuff that I share. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, let me actually write all the ideas down that I had, which I already like. I have tons of these little books, like tons and tons over the years of 15 years of playing, with all my ideas structured. And actually, when I finished the conservatory in 2018, I already wrote a thesis about this whole paradiddle universe and all the groupings, and I already had it sort of
I like that phrase, paradiddle universe, instead of parallel universe.
paradiddle universe.
Paradiddle universe.
Yeah, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
Why haven't I heard of?
I don't know.
That is fantastic. Sorry.
Yeah,
Distracted by the fullness
I
of
wrote my whole thesis around the pairs. It sounds crazy, but
Yeah.
I wrote it's been really cool how that developed. And then when I started to discover Instagram, I was like, let me see what people actually want to see or want to hear and want to. So I actually put that in an ebook, and yeah, it started to sell. I started to promote it. I started actually to do some online courses, one-on-one training online. So I started to have students from the UK, students from the States, Germany, like literally all over the world, India, people from all over the world, Australia. And that's when I realized like, wow, like I can actually reach a lot of people with my ideas. So I started to build on that and learn about business, like not to make money per se, but I realized I don't have to be dependent of other artists. If I can pay my rent by selling online courses that help drummers become more free, more creatively free, and become the architect of their own playing, then that's what I want to do. I want to inspire other drummers to become better drummers. And if I can help them do that as a service, which they pay me for, how cool is that? Like, I really get to do what I love every day. And like some musicians and other drummers are like very hesitant to sell themselves. But the way I see it is like I'm providing a solution for other drummers that are stuck, and my ideas help them to break free from that. And we got to be honest, we got to make, we got
Gotta
to
make some
earn our
money.
food, we got to earn our rent,
Yeah.
we got to survive. And if I can do that by helping other drummers, yes, please.
Yeah, I hear people undersell themselves or not want to or feel embarrassed almost by promoting themselves.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I think, yeah, if you've got nothing to offer, then feel bad about that. But if you've got something to offer, and just explained about your career, where you've come from, and you've spent all that time in your life learning. So if you're sharing that with other people, you've got something to offer. And if you can connect to people and relate to your target or to your audience, then why would it be wrong to inform people? It's a bit like saying, well, you could go that way, it will take you 2 hours, but if you go this way, it's actually a nicer route and you can get there in an hour and a half. I know this route, but I'm not going to tell you. So just keep going that way. Now, I'm not saying that you're doing a shortcut thing, but why would you not want to tell people that you've got a better way of doing something?
Yeah.
Or it might be better for them. It might be
For me, it worked, and I've been teaching for a long time, and I've tested it out on hundreds of students, and it works for them. I've had people from Berkeley come to me to ask about these ideas and apply them in their playing, and they study that for 3 months, and they're flying, and it helps. So from my experiences, what I've seen with my own students, and for me, it works. It's not for everyone, and it shouldn't be. Like, if this is not for you, that's totally fine.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of the human race, is that we're all different. I think that what you offer is it really does resonate with me. So I want to find out. I want to find out more about it, which is what, when it comes to the podcast, the whole point, this reach you talk about, people hearing, oh, I've never heard of this guy before, or this person, I've never had this drummer before, or this idea, I hadn't thought about that. And people are driving in their cars, listening to podcasts or whatever they're doing, and I think it's really important to share these facilities that are available, and I always assume that everyone knows everyone, because I spend so much of my time, too much of my time, on the phone looking at drum things. And then I say to people, oh yeah, have you heard about that? And no. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're all over but maybe it's because they're all over my feed. But they're not all over their feed. Tell us about your Instagram account, or how do people find you?
On Instagram, it's Eddie Van Dongen Drums, which is EDDIEVANDONGEN drums. That's Instagram, and then it's Eddie's Drum Academy on YouTube, and eddiesdrumacademy.com is the website where you can find all the things that I share. I've got ebooks. So the thing is, sometimes people see my Instagram, they see all these fills and all these numbers, and they're like, what is this guy sharing? Just some fills. I'm not sharing the fills, I'm sharing the thought process behind it. So my ebooks are not your random books with fills. Sometimes people, they expect to find fills in it, but it's actually the concepts that help you to develop a language, to develop and generate your own fills, so you can become the architect of your own fills and your own playing, which I find really important, because what I struggled with was, getting a drum book, and then you get all these fills and you're like, I don't know, and I've got 10 fills or 50 fills, and then they don't really fit in a musical situation. So I tried to find a way to develop this language, like ideas and the thinking process behind creating these endless fills. Sometimes you look at drummers and they seem to have this infinite pool of ideas. And I strive to put that into a thought process, what I like to call the creative strategy, how you can apply your own fills into your playing. Instead of memorizing a fill, you've got these melodic phrases and ideas that you can pull from anytime when you're playing drums. So that's what you'll find in the ebooks. That's for people that like to study on their own. I'd like to apply those ideas by themselves. I've also got some online courses, which is really the video examples for people that are more visual learners and they want to hear it and see me actually play it.
Yeah.
So that's some online courses that also help with understanding the thought processes in the ebooks. And how I see it is that there's all these little subsystems or flow systems of vocabulary that you can use. So one of my online courses is about groups of 3s and 5s, which is very common melodies that you hear in music. Others are about groups of 6 and 4 or 4s and 2s. So there's all these different sets of vocabulary that you can use and pull from. And then I've also got a group coaching program where we do like 4-week live programs where you meet with me and a group of drummers every week, every Thursday for 4 weeks. We study together. You get to share your exercises, your videos in my community, where you get weekly feedback, video feedback on your videos, which is, I think, also a very important part of today's online coaching, is that feedback that you can get directly, which is amazing. Sometimes, when I had drum lessons, you practiced the whole week and you did it wrong, or you practiced it not the good way. So having that feedback to me is really important, and for the students as well. And I travel around doing clinics, master classes, all over.
So to go back on the video feedback ones, are you talking about this is purely online?
Yeah.
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 So it's because you talked about reaching out to all the different countries. So obviously you don't travel around to India one week and Germany the next. So this is a massive advantage, obviously, of today's world. It sounds like an old man, but been able to reach everyone across the world. But you're having this feedback, so just explain that. So someone will be in your class, and you'll get they'll submit a video, and then you'll feedback about how they did.
Yeah.
And how does that feedback work? Does that work in is it a video? Do you do a video back to them, or?
Sometimes I do a video back if it's necessary, or sometimes it's just a voice message through WhatsApp. But the thing is, when you do a group program like that with me, it's about a very specific topic. For example, about the 3s and 5s, right? Sometimes I do a program about the 3s and the 4s, or whatever. Different combinations, different topics. So it's about a very specific set of vocabulary. So they get, the first session we meet for 1.5 hours with 20 drummers, where I share the workbook. So they get a workbook for the first week and they know exactly what to work on with. And we have these little milestones in between where I feel like if you can do that, right, you're ready to move on to the next step. So people send in specific videos about specific ideas or exercises, and then I give them feedback. Oh, your right hand is whatever doing this, or you're speeding up, or did you notice that, or did you notice that? Just to make sure that they can see and hear themselves in a different perspective. So it's not just me watching them. I always tell them as well, like, look back at your video. Don't just send it to me. Look back and listen back to yourself. What do you hear? Tell me what you hear and post it anyway. Even if you feel like, I can do better. Post it. Like, I don't want you to do it perfectly. That's not the idea. The idea is just to post it wherever you are so I can give you constructive feedback to build on that. Right? It's not about perfection. It's about getting there along the way.
Yeah. I think that's a thing that Mike Johnson says, like, when you fail, but when you don't, when you submit things to him and it doesn't pass his sessions, he says that's where the growth is. It's if you just passed every time, or you just kept going. It's a bit like if you're learning at home on your own and you're reading the book and you're playing the song and going, I've done it right. But you don't know if you've done it right. Exactly. You assume you've done it right, and you decide yourself you're going to move on to the next one. And the chances are, and this is probably talking to myself, but chances are you haven't actually really learned much, and the growth hasn't really happened. You've just done that one, maybe got bored of it and gone to the next one.
And that's actually an important thing as well, is that a lot of people, when it gets boring, they stop. But that's where the real work actually starts. The moment it gets boring is where it actually happens. And that's, I think, the difference between a good drummer and a great drummer is they don't stop when it gets boring. Like I can sit on the same thing for 2 hours and nail it to like the most little detail. But if you just, sometimes people are like, yeah, I've practiced it. I'm like asking, oh, how long did you practice that thing? 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Like how many reps is that? Like 10?
Yeah.
20? Like do 100, do 1,000, do 10,000 reps on one thing. What do you think will happen? So I always also provide practice programs for everyone that joins. They get these templates to put in their practice. So it's not about just joining and having some fun. Like I require you to at least practice 4 times a week. If you can, you're not joining the program because I can guarantee you will actually make progress.
Yeah.
So I give them templates to practice from. And I'd rather have you practice 5 minutes a day than 1 hour a week because you get more reps in.
Yeah.
Right. And the consistency, this is also like I researched on the brain and how things store in the brain and why that happens. And there's so many interesting things. And basically it means that the more reps you do consistently, the better it's going to store in your brain and in your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you did 4 years of going backwards and learning it and going backwards and forward to the uni, to the college you wanted to get into. And that's an example of keep trying, isn't it? And keep doing it. And you
don't give up.
There's no point in just doing it for 5 minutes and going, you can't do it.
Don't give up. Just don't stop. That's the only thing that will keep you from getting where you want to be, is stopping. Just do not stop and keep going. And have fun along the way, right?
Or if you don't stop, but you're not getting it, are you progressing? Because you need to.
Of course. So why do all the best athletes in the world have coaches?
Yes, exactly.
I still learn every day. I'm doing a mentorship with Klaus Hesler at the moment, which is 10 months. I'm not, and after that, I'm going to find, maybe I'll continue. Maybe I found another teacher. I studied with tons of drummers all over the world. I flew to LA in November to study with Dave Illich, just because I want to, like, I need more inspiration. I'll never stop learning.
No, my uncle plays, he's 72. He's been playing for 50 or so years. And he practices every day. He has books. He's got loads of books. He gets new books. He learns, and he's always learning, and he's,
I do think
you'll never be finished.
You need coaching. Like I'm a big fan of that, and finding people that can help you, because yes, if you constantly repeat something the wrong way, or you think you're doing it good and then you're not progressing, yes, sure, something is wrong. Find someone to help you.
Yeah, and that's the feedback thing. I think that, and that's the nice thing. The online lessons are fantastic, but also having that feedback as well is I think you need a bit of both.
For sure.
Yeah, you need someone to say, no, you're not doing it right, or this is what you might try this, it will help.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, cool. Well, wonderful. So what have you got coming up next?
I've got some clinics coming up with Andrea, so we're also going to do a few in the UK. We're going to go to Drum Depot. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this already, but there's going to come up some stuff with Evans and Meinl, where we're doing some workshops with Andrea, doing drum camp in the Netherlands. So yeah, plenty of stuff coming up. Lots of new online courses coming out over the next few months. I'm super excited about that, and hoping to inspire as much drummers as I can.
And the Meinl Drum Festival?
Meinl Drum Festival happening, of course. Gonna go there. Whoop.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Follow us on Instagram at the Drum Shed Podcast. Thanks for listening.